I just don't hear that a lot. Of course, the Bible says a lot about it. Part of it is we don't understand what it means to be slothful. Slothfulness is not watching, reruns of old TV or soap operas and chocolate bonbons all day in front of the TV. Laziness is the failure to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. That's what it means to be lazy. It's failure to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. We do all kind of different things and procrastinate. When God shows us, that's what he's saying, not lagging behind in diligence. Don't be slow, be diligent to do what God shows you, what needs to be done, and you do it when it needs to be done. Fervent in spirit. It's a picture literally of water coming to a boil. Literally, that's the picture. Bubbling up, man. It's with enthusiasm. It's with passion. It's invigorated by God. Not lagging behind in diligence, fervent in spirit, and here's the last phrase, serving the Lord. Do you realize how easy it is in community and relationships to do things, quote, in the name of God, but you're serving you? You do it, I do it because I get a stroke for it. I do it because people think better of me. I do it because I get this warped theology that if I'll give my money and give my time, then God will give it back a whole lot. Well, that's true, but when you give it for the wrong reason, I don't think it works. You know how you know if you're really serving the Lord? If you're doing it for the right reason? It's when you get treated like a servant. When people aren't grateful, when people don't thank you, when people don't notice what you've done, when you feel greatly underappreciated, when you don't, get with, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and they treat you like a servant. Now, people shouldn't do that, but I think God lets it happen now and then. So you kind of step back and say, well, why did I do this? Do I do this so I get this? No, do I do this? Well, brother so-and-so has donated this to the church. You want to thank him, and that plaque will be out there in the front. Is that it? Is it because there's a self-fulfillment? I need this. I need to be in the spotlight. I need to... Man, you know what? The heart is deceitful above all else and desperately wicked. And see, that's why authentic community is so rare. And that's why it's so powerful. When you love other people, and I don't mean ooey gooey feelings. Often, the best love I've ever given, I can tell you this, I didn't want to do it. Love isn't about, ooey gooey feelings. Oh. Love is choosing to give another person what they need the most when they deserve it the least at great personal cost. That's what love is. That's agape love. Choosing, not a feeling, choosing to give another person what they need the most. And sometimes they need it the most, and you think they deserve it. Well, it's pretty easy. But what they need the most when they deserve it the least, at great personal cost, does that not define what Jesus did on the cross? Exactly. That's what love is. And see, that's what the world goes, whoa, how could you do that? Isn't that the boss that gypped you money? Isn't that the mate that walked out on you? Isn't that the son that went south and spent all that money on drugs? And yep, that's right. Yep. No, there's boundaries, and I'm not enabling, but that's right. I'm giving someone what they need the most when they deserve it the least at great personal cost. And by the way, so you don't get in your mind there's these big things you need to go out and do, just start doing this in your marriage. Just start doing it in your home. Just do it with your grandkids. Just begin to think about what do they really need? Not what they want. What do they really need? The real you showing up, meeting real needs for the right reason. And the right reason, man, in the right way. And in the right way, notice what it says. He goes on to say, in the right way, verse 12 and 13, there's an upward focus and there's an outward focus. The upward focus is rejoicing in hope, persevering in tribulation, devoted to prayer. The outward focus is contributing to the needs of the saints, practicing hospitality, or literally, the phrase is pursuing strangers. When the real you meets real needs for the right reason in the right way. And by the right way, well, what's the wrong way? The wrong way is in my own strength, in my own personality, and in my own power, and my own fleshly energy, even if it's for a spiritual cost. He says, no, here's the right way. First, there's an upward focus. You rejoice in hope. And by the way, hope isn't, in English we think of hope as sort of like, I hope it doesn't rain, or I hope things work out well tomorrow. Hope is a wishful thought for a preferable future in English. Biblically, hope is the anchored certainty of what will occur in the future. And so the blessed hope is the return of Christ. The blessed hope is you're going to go to heaven, not because of what you've done, but because of what he's done. So you rejoice not in circumstances up and down. You rejoice in the certainty of the hope that no matter what you happen to be going through, you are a child of God. You've been washed in his blood. You've been adopted into his family. You will be in heaven because of his work. And regardless of what anything happens to you on any certain day, it can be cancer, it can be injustice, it can be difficulty, it can be financial loss, it can be bankruptcy. You rejoice in the hope that's relational. And that's a mindset that then is followed by, when you have that hope, what's the next line? Persevering in tribulation. Hupomeno is the word. Hupo, to be under the stress or pressure of something. Under tribulation and difficulty and trials, you don't give up. You don't give in. You don't cash out. You don't bail in. You rejoice in hope, and then you have an action. You persevere in tribulation. And then notice, where's the resource? Where's that power come from? The right way? Devoted, same word, to what? Prayer. I've met probably 3 to 5 people in my entire life that I could honestly say are devoted to prayer. Now, it's strong, devoted. Not ought to, not I feel guilty, not at least I get enough done, not, well, I'm sort of doing it all during the day. That's good too. I'm talking about devoted to prayer. There is a time, there is a place, there are issues, there is focus, there is dependency, there is crying out, oh God, only you can do this. Only you can resolve this problem. Only you can answer this prayer. Only you can change our church. Only you can turn my son's heart around. Only you can intervene in the situation in the hospital. Only you can do something great in this country. Rejoicing in hope, persevering in tribulation, devoted to prayer. That's the right way. That's the upward focus. And so the real you showing up, progressively more real and vulnerable, more pure, dealing with your stuff like we do. And then you meet real needs, not just the convenient ones. And then you do it for the right reason. You do it in a timely way, as unto the Lord, with enthusiasm and diligence and with excellence. It's not, oh, this is good enough for the church. This shirt isn't any good, and these pants aren't any good, and I wouldn't wear them anymore, but let's put them in a barrel and send them to the people that are sacrificing their life around the world in missions. Man, where do we get that thinking? Go out and buy a new shirt and stick it in the barrel. Or for some of you, you got the money, fly over there. Encourage him for a week, and then take him to, hey, make a couple suits for this guy. Love him with excellence. And then he says in the right way. Upward focus, and then outward focus. Because see, what can happen? When authentic community starts happening, I'll tell you, you start tasting this, and you start doing life with people, if you're not careful, you get ingrown. Because, it gets exciting. It's awesome to do life with people openly and vulnerably and caring and ups and downs and accepting one another and agreeing to disagree and going through some tough times together. And if you're not careful, it'll be like us 4 and no more. And so Paul says authentic community also needs to be contributing to the needs of the saints. It can't be just words. Your wallet has to come out, and you give financially, sacrificially, systematically. You say, we have these needs, but where are their other needs? We have been given much. They have been given little. Right out of the New Testament, right? That's what Paul said. Look, we have a lot right now. They're having a famine over here. We're going to take a little collection, and we'll bring it over here, 2 Corinthians 8 and 9, and we'll give it to you all, because the day may come when over here they may have more. We're a body. It's not yours. Your money's not yours. Your house isn't yours. Your car isn't yours. Your stuff's not yours. It's God's. That's all on loan. You're just a steward. He can tap over here to say, I want this reallocated over here and this allocated over here. And by the way, there is a heaven. It's real. There is a royal bank of heaven. And he says, put your treasure in heaven. Notice the phrase we always forget, for yourself. That sounds kind of selfish, but Jesus said it. He thinks that there's actual heaven with a real reward. And when you give sacrificially to meet the needs of other people, you actually are sending treasure for yourself and freeing your heart. from the stuff that'll decay it today. And then not only does he say that, but he says it's not enough just to contribute to the needs of the saints. He says pursuing strangers, literally, or practicing hospitality. And that's where you look at those people that have great need, those people that are kind of extra grace required, those person that doesn't fit in, that person that, isn't a part of your group, and you go out and you pursue them and say, we want to love you even though you're different than us. That's when the world steps up and notices. When black and white brothers really love each other. When Asian and Indian people and white people come together around common cause. When Democrats and Republicans put aside their very strong differences about issues and say, I think the flag over our relationship is going to be Jesus and the Bible, and maybe we'll probably agree to disagree on, how the economy ought to be run and whether it ought to be this candidate or that candidate. It's when tribes in Africa say that it's more important to belong to Christ than it does this tribe or that tribe, where we have this tribe filled with Christians and this tribe filled with Christians annihilating one another in Rwanda and now in Kenya. Why? Because their cultural country club mentality, gang mentality about where they belong, they've got it wrong. And even though they're believers, they think they belong to something lower, and that takes precedence instead of something higher called the body of Christ. And we've got to practice hospitality. What step would you need to take from where you're at right now to experience authentic community? Or, are you ready? Allow someone else to experience it. What do you need to do for the real you to show up, to meet real needs for the right reason, in the right way? And I'd like you to bow your head and ask God, Lord, what would I need to do for authentic community to happen so John 13 would be obeyed, John 17 would be answered, and some people that have no idea that you're really real would say, oh, they love one another. Maybe this Jesus really is from God.